Hello, and welcome to True Life Stories. Today's story is about Heather, a 41-year-old mother living in Oregon. Heather was living a typical life, raising her child and managing a household. However, a small misunderstanding crept into her daily routine, and it soon led even her closest loved ones to lose trust, leaving behind only pain. Today, we'll be sharing her story with you. Let's dive in. I'm Heather, 41 years old and the mother of a 6-year-old son. My husband James and I are both working, but while he goes to the office daily, I work from home and take care of our son. James and I respected each other's roles and had been living without any major issues. But then one day, that peaceful life was shattered. Uncle came over to our house today. In that moment, I froze. James looked confused as well and asked, "Uncle?" "What uncle? I only have a younger sister, no brothers. I've never had any man come to the house, nor had I ever imagined such a thing." At first, James thought Luke must have been mistaken, but our son, Luke, kept repeating, "Uncle came over and played with me. He played with Mommy, too." From that moment, James's expression began to darken. I was so confused I didn't know what to say. There had been nothing out of the ordinary, so why was our son saying this? James's face grew colder, and his eyes turned to me with suspicion. Did someone really come to the house? An uncle? The question sent a chill through me. The trust we'd built over the years felt like it was crumbling in an instant. I tried to prove everything to James. I showed him my phone, my text messages, Instagram, even my internet search history, and my bank records. But the doubt wouldn't go away. It hung over our home like a heavy cloud, pressing down on me. And from that day forward, our conversations turned into arguments. "Heather, are you going to tell me the truth or not? Did nothing really happen? Why does it seem like you're hiding something?" "What do you think I'm hiding? Nothing happened. Why can't you believe me?" "Luke keeps saying the same thing. How am I supposed to just ignore that? How can I trust you in this situation?" "I've shown you everything. What more can I do?" At that moment, I could see there was no love or trust left in James's face, only disappointment and suspicion. It was then that I realized I couldn't hold this family together anymore. No matter what I did, his doubt would never go away. From then on, we fought constantly. After each fight, there was a heavy silence, and that silence made me feel more and more isolated. When James went to work, I was left alone, crying in our room. Eventually, I even started avoiding conversations with Luke. I was too exhausted, too drained to face even my son. And soon enough, the story spread to James's parents and mine. At first, my mother-in-law, Mary, supported me. "Luke must be confused. You wouldn't do something like that," she said, comforting me. But as time went on and Luke kept repeating the same story, the atmosphere changed. Suspicion grew. "Heather, Luke's not at an age where he'd make this up. Are you sure no one came to the house?" At first I laughed it off, saying, "No, Mary, no one came." But inside, something was breaking. The warmth that had once come from James's parents was slowly turning cold. Even my father-in-law, John, started looking at me differently. "If you're hiding something, Heather, it might be better to come clean now, don't you think?" Those words cut deep. They knew how much I had sacrificed for this family, yet now they suspected me. The closest people in my life no longer believed me. I began to feel completely alone, isolated in my own home. The same thing happened with my own parents. At first, they supported me, saying, "You wouldn't do something like that." But as time passed, even they started doubting me. The people I needed to trust me the most were slipping away. "Heather, did nothing really happen? Luke keeps saying the same thing. Is there something you're not telling us?" People make mistakes sometimes. If you're hiding something, now's the time to tell us. We might be able to help. When I heard those words, I couldn't take it anymore. I had worked so hard for this family, but no one believed me. I was becoming more and more isolated, consumed by frustration and sadness. And Luke kept saying, "Uncle came." Every time I heard it, I asked again, "Luke, I've never brought anyone to this house. Tell me the truth. Why are you lying?" But Luke would cry and keep insisting, "Uncle came. He really came." He'd sob, and I would sink further into confusion and despair. "Mom, why don't you believe me? Uncle was here. I swear." I was breaking down. No matter how hard I tried to convince Luke, it was useless. Then, one day, we went out to a clothing store together, and right there, Luke brought it up again. "Mom, do you think Uncle would like this outfit?" As soon as I heard that, I panicked and tried to quiet him. "There's no Uncle, Luke. Don't say that." But it was too late. People in the store overheard us and started looking at me with suspicion. At that moment, I felt frozen in place, like I'd done something terribly wrong. After that day, I dreaded going out with Luke. I was terrified that he'd mention the uncle again and that people would judge me. Time passed, and the weight of it all just kept building. I carried that burden everywhere I went. Then one day, the truth finally came out. Luke approached me cautiously as I was doing the dishes, sensing my exhaustion and sadness. He smiled sheepishly before he spoke. "Mom, guess what? It was all just a joke." In that moment, I froze. His laughter was like a dagger to my heart. All the pain, the arguments, the mistrust, all of it had come from his little joke. I turned to him, my voice cold. "What did you just say? Say it again." Luke's eyes widened with surprise, but he kept laughing as he answered. "Mom, it was all just a joke. Uncle never came. I made it up." In that instant, something inside me broke. All the fights with James, the doubt from my in-laws and parents, the judgmental looks from strangers, everything had come from Luke's lie. I stood there, staring at him, while the weight of all the hurt I had carried pressed down on me. "Do you have any idea how much your lie hurt me?" Luke's face turned to fear, and he answered nervously. "Mom, I'm sorry. It was just a joke. Please forgive me." But I couldn't forgive him. Not this time. The hurt ran too deep. I looked at him with cold eyes, feeling like everything I had been fighting for was gone. Luke started to cry and came closer. "Mom, please forgive me. I was wrong. I'll never do it again." I held back my tears as I spoke, my voice hard. "I don't know how to look at you anymore. You have no idea how much pain your lie caused me." Luke's crying grew louder, but I just sat there, saying nothing. The sadness and anger inside me were too much. All the hurt I had suffered couldn't be undone by his tears, and that realization broke me even more. Even after that, Luke kept asking for forgiveness. But the wound in my heart didn't heal. The doubt I'd experienced from James, my in-laws, my own parents, and most painfully, the betrayal from my own son. It was too much. I realized I could no longer keep this family together. I'm so exhausted. If I had done something wrong, maybe it would feel less unfair, but I've truly devoted myself to my husband, my child, and my family. I've lived a faithful life, and it feels so unjust. It's driving me mad. The memory of living under suspicion for months is horrifying. I can't forgive my child for lying and tormenting me for all those months. I still don't understand why he did it, and I'm starting to question if there's something wrong with him mentally. I don't want to raise him anymore. I don't want to keep this family together. I only want to fulfill my responsibilities as a mother and nothing more. I want a divorce, give up custody, and just pay child support. My husband had a right to be suspicious. I understand that. But after I showed him everything, my phone, my accounts, even a DNA test, he still doubted me. And that left me feeling empty. I just want a divorce. Is it okay if I do that? You've just heard Heather's story. It's a powerful reminder of how misunderstandings and mistrust within a family can leave deep emotional scars. What should Heather do next? How should she navigate this difficult situation? We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for listening.